Welcome back, podcast fans. I'm Janine, and this is my podcast, Quest for You. I want to dedicate today's episode to the topic of connection. Connection with fellow human beings. But we cannot dive into connection without first talking about the most important connection, and that is the connection with ourselves. The topic of connection always made me slightly uncomfortable. All my life, I struggled connecting with people. There were only a handful of people in my life that I felt that true loving connection with, that we so often talk about. As for the rest of the people I met, when I didn't feel that there was something there to explore, I gave up quickly. I tried, and I was hopeful, but honestly, I didn't have the patience. Part of the problem also was that I didn't see the value in building connections. I'm content being alone and having a few selected and very good friends. I don't need a ton of people and was never one to appreciate just casual acquaintances that you only see from time to time. But since I began to build a more intimate connection with myself, I noticed how this perception has changed. In fact, everything changed. And you think it would be the opposite. More reliance on the outside world, more need for affirmation from others, more reliance on yourself and your inner strength, and less need for others. Well, it actually works differently. And I will dive into this. But let's start from the beginning. Why are we talking about human connection? Why is it even necessary? Some people are perfectly happy alone. I was one of them, and I'm still fine by myself. But what is it about this phenomenon that we call connection? This rare moment when we feel heard, understood, and deeply tied to the energy of another human being, which comes with this feeling of immense inner fulfillment. A point of arrival when you know this is it. This person was meant to cross my path. When we forget about everything around us and our entire being fills with a lightness, a warmth, and a sense that the world is in order. Whatever happened or whatever is going to happen, we know it will be all right. The presence of that other person or that group of people which helps ground us and gives us a sense of belonging. I want to start with Brené Brown. She defines true belonging as follows. True belonging is the spiritual practice of believing in and belonging to yourself so deeply that you can share your most authentic self with the world and find sacredness in both being a part of something and standing alone in the wilderness. True belonging does not require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are. It sounds so simple. Just be who you are. The problem with this is we don't know who we really are. And this is what the quest for you is all about. Finding back to who you are. Being yourself. Many people interpret this as letting loose, rebelling against rules, ignoring others and their feelings, doing what they want and feel like in that moment. Being who you are really requires first to find out who you are. And then, as Brené states, sharing that true and authentic self with the world. And that is where connection comes in. When that genuine you shows up in the world, devoid of any masks and fears and preconceived notions, that is when the true human connection can take place. Because if you don't know who you are, how do you know what to look for in others? If you don't have an intimate relationship with yourself, how can you know when you are actually connecting with others versus just admiring them or wanting to be liked? If you don't value yourself, you will judge others or let yourself be judged by them, unable to establish an honest bond. And that is exactly what happened to me. I didn't know what to look for in others. I based everything on my feelings and looked for common interests. I judged, and that's how I qualified people as worthy of my attention. I didn't think I needed people in my life, so I didn't take the time to get to know them. Always in my own world, busy with my own things, and too busy for others. And as a result, I didn't make many friends. I always thought friendships just kind of happen. Same as with love, which we'll cover in another episode. People are destined to cross paths and things will just take their course. Yeah, right. Listen to another quote from Brené Brown. True belonging is not passive. It's not the belonging that comes with just joining a group. It's not fitting in or pretending or selling out because it's safer. It's a practice that requires us to be vulnerable, get uncomfortable, and learn how to be present with people without sacrificing who we are. If we are going to change what is happening in a meaningful way, we're going to need to intentionally be with people who are different from us. We're going to have to sign up and join and take a seat at the table. We're going to have to learn how to listen, have a hard conversation, look for joy, share pain, and be more curious than defensive, all while seeking moments of togetherness. I could not even attempt to express this in any better way. This is connection, true connection. This is what it's all about. And no, connection doesn't just happen. Only in very rare circumstances, when you sit by chance next to the right person on the bus. But most of the time, it requires you to partake. Being vulnerable. Yes, you have to open up a little and take a risk. Get uncomfortable. Yes, reaching out to another human being can be uncomfortable, especially for some of us introverts. And being present, not judging, not thinking how you can look good, just being present and showing empathy for the person across from you. Yes, and because connection is vulnerable, uncomfortable, and present, that is why so many of us shy away from it, or are not good at it. Connection is risky business. There's a lot of fear many of us carry within us. One of my goals this year was to make new friends. I waited 6 months to see if the universe would magically bring them to my doorstep. But when nothing happened, I decided it's time to get my butt off the couch and get moving. So just recently here, I joined a couple of groups and I created a Quest for You meetup group. Talk about being scared. Try having dinner with 10 strangers. But that's what I did. And there were only 10 strangers the first evening. The following dinner, some of the same people returned. And the dinner after that, again. And you know what? Every time, I completely forgot about the world around me and had the best time with these people. Immersed in conversations with the most interesting people you can imagine. There's an author of novels at the table. There's a life coach. There's a former folk singer from New York. There's a fitness coach. There are wonderful people with their stories, with their experiences, with their backgrounds. And we laugh and we wonder how small the world is because we find so many commonalities. And in short, we connect. That, my friends, is connection. True belonging does not require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are. You just have to be okay with being a bit vulnerable, being a bit uncomfortable, and being willing to be present. But the result, I promise you, is extraordinary. I encourage you to go for connection, real human connection. And as a side note, if you are in the Bay Area and you want to join one of our dinners, let me know. We have a wonderful group, we have wonderful people, and we connect. Try something. Try take a step out. You don't think you need people? I thought the same. But there's so much fulfillment walking away from a wonderful connection with a human being. And it doesn't matter who they are, and it doesn't matter if they are of the same age as you, if they like the same things as you. All these things that I thought always are so important and matter, they don't. What matters is how you connect. And you have to make that effort. You have to go out there and you have to make that effort. And you will find that the people that you meet are amazing. And you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about what they look like, what they might say, what they might do. Just be yourself. That's all you have to do. Just show up. Much love.